Welcome to the Google Cloud Update. It's October 10th, 2025, and we've got a fantastic lineup of new features and GA announcements for you this week. It's been a massive week for data and security. Coming up on the show, we'll dive into a powerful new threat correlation feature in Security Command Center that helps you see the bigger picture. We'll then spend a good amount of time on BigQuery, which has an avalanche of updates, including a breaking change you need to know about, new connectors for PayPal and Stripe, and a whole suite of GA features for better cost and workload management. We'll also cover some major milestones for Bigtable, including GA for its Cassandra adapter and a new JDBC driver in preview. Cloud SQL gets some great operational enhancements, and Cloud Run makes scaling even easier. We've got a lot to get through, so let's jump right in. First up, let's talk security. For those using the enterprise tier of Security Command Center, there's a game-changing new feature in preview called correlated threats. Instead of just seeing a list of individual threat findings, this feature uses the security graph to intelligently group related findings together. This means if you have, say, an exposed instance, a malware execution, and then data exfiltration from that same instance, correlated threats will bundle them into a single, high-priority case. This helps you understand the entire attack chain at a glance and prioritize what truly matters. Also, for Security Command Center users, the Google Cloud Console pages have received a number of usability enhancements. You can now refresh findings directly in the results panel. The JSON tab now shows the raw API-compatible object, and query autocomplete has been improved. Now, let's move on to the star of this week's show, BigQuery. There are a ton of updates here, starting with a critical breaking change. Attention on-demand pricing users. The default limit for query usage per day on all new projects has been set to 200 terabytes. For existing projects, the default has been adjusted based on your usage over the last 30 days. If you're not using reservations or custom cost controls, you'll want to review this new limit to make sure your workloads aren't affected. You can, of course, create a custom cost control to set the limit that's right for you. Okay, with that important notice out of the way, let's get to the fun stuff. The BigQuery data transfer service is getting two highly requested new data sources in preview, PayPal and Stripe. This is huge for anyone wanting to easily pull financial and transaction data into BigQuery for analysis. And for all the marketers out there, the connector for Google Analytics 4 is now generally available, including support for custom reports. BigQuery also saw a huge push in workload management and cost control features hitting general availability. You can now, first, allocate idle slots fairly across reservations. This means if one team's reservation is idle, its slots can be shared equally among other reservations in the same admin project, maximizing your slot utilization. Second, you can now set a maximum slot limit for a reservation, giving you predictable performance and cost. And third, you get more flexible control. You can now specify which reservation a query should use at runtime, and even set IAM policies directly on reservations for more fine-grained access control. For Dataform users, you can now set the priority of jobs to run as either interactive or batch queries. And finally, for those who love digging into metadata, the information_schema.shared_dataset_usage view has been updated with new fields to better track usage metrics for external tables and routines. It's a massive week for giving BigQuery users more control and more data. Staying in the data world, Bigtable has 3 fantastic updates for us. First, for anyone looking to migrate from Apache Cassandra, the Cassandra to Bigtable proxy adapter is now generally available. This is a massive win, as it lets you connect your existing Cassandra-based applications to Bigtable with minimal code changes. Second, and this is a big one for broader integration, a Bigtable JDBC driver is now in preview. This opens the door for connecting to Bigtable from a wide range of Java applications and business intelligence tools that support a standard JDBC interface. And finally, to help you optimize costs, Bigtable tiered storage is also now in preview. This feature automatically moves less frequently accessed data to lower cost storage tiers, helping you reduce your storage bills while retaining data for longer periods. Let's move over to our managed databases. Cloud SQL has a couple of very practical new features that are now generally available. For Cloud SQL for Postgres users, you can now run a pre-check to assess the upgrade readiness of your instances before a major version upgrade. This is a fantastic safety net. The tool will either give you the green light or provide a clear list of issues you need to fix before you hit the upgrade button. And for those running Cloud SQL for SQL Server on the Enterprise Plus edition, Advanced Disaster Recovery is now GA for instances enabled with Private Service Connect. This gives you the ability to designate a cross-region DR replica, perform a failover with a zero data loss switchover, and even simulate a DR event without actually losing any data. This is a powerful tool for your business continuity planning. Now for our serverless fans, Cloud Run has two great GA features. First, you can now apply maximum instance configurations at the service level, not just the revision level. This is a subtle but important change. It means you can set a single scaling limit for your entire service, and it will persist across all new deployments, making your scaling behavior much more predictable and easier to manage. And for our developers, Cloud Run Functions, the first-gen version, now officially supports the Node.js 22 runtime at general availability. So, go ahead and take advantage of the latest features in the Node ecosystem. We also have a flurry of updates across our operations, DevOps, and networking stack. In cloud load balancing, percentage-based request mirroring is now generally available for global and regional external application load balancers. This means you can send a specific percentage of your live traffic, say just 1%, to a mirror backend for testing, without affecting the primary request path. It's perfect for safely canary testing new services. In Cloud Composer, upgrade checks are now GA for both Composer 2 and 3. Just like the feature we saw in Cloud SQL, this helps you validate your environment for potential issues before you start an upgrade. Over in Cloud Logging, the query builder in the Log Analytics page has hit GA. This provides a much more user-friendly, menu-driven way to build your analytics queries without having to write SQL from scratch. There's also an important change in Cloud Build. The old Service Account User role is being removed from the Permissions console page. The new, more secure best practice is to configure the Cloud Build service account to impersonate other service accounts as needed. This aligns better with the principle of least privilege. And finally, DataProc on Compute Engine now enables several diagnostic properties by default on new clusters, which will collect more detailed logs and data to help with troubleshooting. If you're using the Ops Agent initialization action, you'll want to check the release notes for a recommendation on how to avoid duplicate syslog ingestion. And that's a wrap for this week's Google Cloud Update. From the intelligent new correlated threats in Security Command Center to a truly massive set of new capabilities in BigQuery, there's a lot to dig into. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for another dose of Google Cloud news.